Welcome to Rauta and Indy 5. This time we go all the way to Finland a couple of times, USA, Germany, and maybe most exotic of them all, India. Let's do 5 albums in alphabetical order, and these are all of various styles. Quite extreme to some extent and some really experimental ones. I'll explain as I go through them. First we'll start with Brahmastrika. I don't even know how to properly pronounce this. Excarnastrial Commencination. Oh, well, roughly, give or take. This one is from India, and it's an EP, actually demo reissue with only a few tracks. It was originally released, if I'm not mistaken, around 2019, and this CD version from Langenneet production is from 2020. And 5 tracks in total, no lyrics whatsoever, this kind of a statement here, and track list on the other side. Hymns of this track might be a little bit exaggeration, because, well, this is kind of how war metal sounds like. It's very bestial sounding, that is kind of a mushy combination of death and black metal in a quite chaotic ways. It's almost like reaching to heights of being a little bit noisy. So 2 guys from India are doing this kind of a war metal combination. Now there is nothing original in terms of being war metal sounding. That is, it's kind of a bestial, that is kind of a chaotic, caveman-like, and well, lots of violence and aggression in that one, except that this doesn't go really fast tempo all the way. But if you're expecting something new from war metal genre, well, this is not the type of release you're looking for. If you don't mind that this is not exactly the most original in the genre, well, this is something that might be right up your alley, as the saying goes. A decent release in its own genre, but like said, nothing exactly phenomenal. Totally listenable, but nothing beyond that. Then we have this one-man project called Devastating Light. I have already failed you, which unfortunately is the nomen part in saying nomen est omen. Name is, well, an omen. This one is kind of a, how to describe it, kind of a post-metallic thing with a little bit of, I guess, certain kind of a sludge, post-rock, those kind of elements. There's even mentioning this being a little bit black metallic, but really I wouldn't go that far with the CDR release, which is, I guess, technically speaking, an EP, less than 30 minutes with 3 songs. But Metal Archives lists this as black metal as part of the deal here. Now, the black metallic part on this release are those screamy vocals, which are very much on the background and, in fact, not very good. They're quite a mediocre, if even that, and in my opinion, this could have been maybe even better as an instrumental release. Now, the thing here with these 3 lengthy songs is that sometimes it feels like this whole release is, you know, like just stomping the ground without moving anywhere. There are parts where just you kind of are kept waiting for the songs to, you know, start. And when it starts, okay, you're pretty much okay. But yeah, everything feels like it's way too much kind of one-trick pony ideas. Not exactly like, wow, no, this is having some cool riffs, but a little bit this and that. But without reaching the climax, which is the kind of a basic problem with so many post-rock and as well post-metallic bands. I mean, sometimes it's all about building the atmosphere, building that bridge to somewhere like El Dorado, you know, but it never happens. The bridge is never finished and you're just like, okay, I failed you. So maybe in that respect, this name is kind of a, you know, bad omen. It's not bad, but very mediocre overall. Kind of a weak production, lame vocals, and the songs are not very good. This is something that might become something interesting if some ideas were more honed and polished. But with this one, back to the demo room, boys, or boy, man in this case. Then we have a Langenneet from Finland, and this is the 2nd album by this one-man project. This project released its first demo in 2020, which I reviewed and, well, gave it 3 out of 5. That is kind of a mediocre-ish black death metal combination with poor homemade production, not very interesting songwriting, but not like totally bad either. The second one, well actually third one, second album, but third release overall, is more than 30 minutes, 37 minutes in fact. And this once again has this very much like homemade recording feeling. That is, the guitars are kind of weak and powerless, but now it seems like the songwriting is a little bit better. Now the death metallic side is more like going more on the background, and the focus is more now with this kind of a fast / mid-tempo black metal. And curiously enough, the vocals are somewhere between death and black metal. They're not exactly growling, but not very shrieky and high-pitched, but somewhere between, which might be a little bit odd for some people, but I think they're quite okay. But the fact is, some of these riffs are just like fillers instead of being killers. In fact, too many of them are exactly that. But they are better ideas which kind of justify the release of this one. Now, if only the production, especially the guitars and what sounds like a drum machine were, you know, a lot better, this could sound like overall feeling like, okay, yeah, you're getting someplace. Because like I said, the fact is, it doesn't matter if you have a good riff, but if you have a weak sound, it's gonna sound like lame. And vice versa, even a kind of lame riff starts to sound way more powerful and interesting when you have really, really good guitar sound with it. Like, when it's powerful, even if it's a very, very basic thing. So, in my opinion, the recipe to make Langenneet, the kind of fallen ones, better would be go to a real studio, or at least go get a producer. There's potential to be good, but this is no only kind of a lukewarmish thing. Worth a listen maybe, but not very good. Then we go to United States of America with this duo, which started around 1999. So quite an old project already, and released something like 8 albums, plus a lot of collaborative releases throughout the years. This is not in fact metal release at all, even though it's listed on Metal Archives. But I guess the reason is, you know, there are bands like Morty's and stuff like that, which are not really metal, but have kind of a metallic link connection, association, if you will. And this is exactly that. Now, this is something that could be described as experimental noise meets power electronics meets kind of a fuzzy, doom, sludge, whatever. Now, it's not exactly any of those purely, but closest I guess this would be kind of a noisy stuff. Noise, experimental sense. There are these kind of string instruments with a very, very strong distortion, like sounding more like... So it's not full noisy. You can hear these, you know, percussions like drums and all that stuff. And there's a lot of this, what could be called as, you know, somewhat like a white noise kind of a thing. So it's more like about hissing and, you know, having these popping sounds and all kind of stuff. Not extra violent like some of the real hardcore noise or power electronics tend to be. But let's be honest about it. It's not very much like metal related, because the strong distortion makes it very much like very fuzzy. You could be, I'm exaggerating here, mind you, listening to your own washing machine do its stunts, you know, getting the laundry a little bit drier, and you could be like, yeah, let's add some drums and, you know, maybe distorted vocals, and that's it, that's the music. Now, obviously, these guys know what they're doing, so they are more talented than just using simple things like that here. But from the audience point of view, you know, their perspective is that this is very, very noisy and definitely for marginal audience only. Now, to me, they sound like they're kind of unique, but knowing a little bit of artists from noise scene and power electronics, I really wouldn't be surprised if there are more acts like The Body doing this kind of experimental, noisier, kind of a sludge, sterner, doomy kind of combination with lots of distortion, lots of effects, making it more buzzing sound and more closer to noise than metal music. But I'm guessing, I really don't know. Those who do know the genre maybe even like this a lot, but it's definitely for marginal audience only. But tells you something that there was like 37,000 subscribers or followers on the band's Facebook site, so maybe there is something I don't know, but this album ain't the easiest one to get into. Then last but not least, well, kind of a part of the list pack here is a band called Unforged with their very first album, An Eye for an Eye. This is October 1st release, so very, very fresh, while the others are a little bit older, from 2020 or early 2021. This comes without a booklet. I only have the CD and this inlay paper here, so nothing to show for more than this one. This is some 38 minutes of what could be described as groove metal. It starts with kind of a strong thrash riffing, and for a while it gives you this idea, okay, this could be a new wave of German thrash metal or something, but it's kind of clear after a while that this is definitely more on the groove metal genre. That is, this kind of has this almost like metalcore kind of parts with which then are linked to these kind of a trashier riffs. So there's clean vocals, which are not very good, and trashier vocals, which are kind of okay, and riffs go back and forth. Sometimes this sounds like a cheap-ass version of Linkin Park. You know, it's almost like, hey, let's make a hit song with clean vocals, and oh yeah, this is gonna be nice, but it's not. And at some point, it's kind of like sounds like potential thrash metal band, which it fails to be because of these more like groovier metal parts, metalcore or otherwise. Production-wise, pretty mediocre, not exactly very good, but definitely decent. And while these guys know how to operate their instruments, I mean, there is no like, what the hell are these guys doing? In terms of, you know, compositions and individual riffs, mostly it's just like, okay. So something like 6 out of 10, in my opinion. Not bad, but, you know, definitely need to hone that thing. Now it's more like bowing ahead to 2 different directions without doing any of the particular thing particularly well, if that makes sense. So anyway, 5 different releases of various styles: black metal, war metal, post metal, experimental noise, and groove metal. Can't really say none of these are exactly very, very good, but definitely some interesting ones here. If I had to pick one to go above the rest, I would say The Body, because it's the most interesting one, or maybe Langenneet, because it has now more potential than how it began. Oh, then you go India for some war metal treatment. The choice is yours, obviously. I hope you like some of them. I hope you check out at least one of them. And if you do, well, let me know what you think in the comment section. Meanwhile, take care and see you soon with more reviews coming your way.